that I taught at one of our Ivy League universities a few years ago. First morning, 25 students, all 25 history majors, all 25 honor students and seniors, the cream of the cream of the crop. And to get the conversation started, I said, how many of you know who George C. Marshall was? Not one. Not one. Finally, one young fellow said, did he maybe have something to do with the Marshall Plan? And we were on our way. I asked the same question last year at a small college in Michigan. 57 students. About 20 got it enough right that I would give credit, that he was a general during the Second World War, that he was Secretary of State, that he, yes, had something to do with the Marshall Plan. 7 of my students said he must have been the man who invented martial law. So they need a little work with their spelling, too. But I'm very sympathetic about that. I greatly admire Andrew Jackson because he once said that he never could respect anyone very much who had so little imagination as to be able to spell a word only one way. When General Marshall, George C. Marshall, was made Secretary of State by President Truman, very soon after, he was asked at a press conference if he'd had a good education at the Virginia Military Institute. He said, no, I did not. And he was asked why, and he said, because we were taught no history. Harry Truman said the only new thing in the world is the history you don't know. Wonderful, simple, direct Missouri observation. The only new thing in the world is the history you don't know. Samuel Eliot Morison, the great Harvard historian, said history teaches us how to behave. Cicero, the Roman orator, senator. John Adams' great hero, Cicero, said that to go through life with no sense of what happened before you came along is to go through life with the outlook of a child. Now, history is not about dates and quotes and obscure provisos. History is about life, about change, about consequences, cause and effect. What happened? Yes. But what happened to whom and why? And if it's not taught right, it becomes exceedingly boring. If it's taught by some dreary, pedantic, unimaginative, dry, colorless person, it will become all of that too. And yet it should be the most interesting of all subjects because it's about people. It's about the mystery of human nature, the mystery of time. It teaches us again and again and again what can happen in life. And one of the lessons is that we never know exactly what will happen. We never know what will turn out. And those people in times past had no more idea of how things were going to turn out in their day than we do in ours. It wasn't always on a track. You're often taught it that way. This follow this, follow that, follow that. And you better get it straight, memorize it, because it's going to be on the test on Wednesday. But nobody ever knew, because it could have gone off in any number of different directions for any number of different reasons all the way along the line, just as it can in our own lives. You could make a very good case, I make the case, that there's no such thing as the past. Nothing ever happened in the past. It only happened in the present, but it was somebody else's present, their present, not ours, and different from our present. Washington, Jefferson, John Adams, they didn't walk around saying, isn't this fascinating, living in the past? Aren't we picturesque in our funny clothes? And they weren't just